in the supernatural world of Beacon Hills. The rules of power are written in blood for generations. The title of Alpha has been the apex of the werewolf hierarchy, a status reserved for the strongest, the most ruthless, the ones willing to kill their way to the top. The unbreakable law of the pack is simple. The only way to claim the glowing red eyes of an alpha is to spill the blood of the alpha who came before you, to seize power through conquest, to embrace the cycle of violence that has defined werewolf kind for centuries. This is the truth that every bitten werewolf learns, the truth that Derek Hale lives by, that Peter Hale weaponizes, that Deucalion, the demon wolf, masters to build his alpha pack. It is a rule so unshakable that it has gone unchallenged for 100 years, until Scott McCall, until the boy who was bitten in the woods, the asthmatic sophomore with a single mother working double shifts, a best friend who drags him into trouble, and a desperate desire to just fit in, breaks every rule the supernatural world has ever written. He does not take the power of an alpha. He earns it, not through the strength of his bite, not through the blood on his hands, but through the weight of the choices he makes in the dark, through the unbreakable strength of his character, through the will to do good even when all the odds are stacked against him, even when the world is designed to break him. This is the mystery at the heart of his journey. What does it actually take to become a true alpha in a world designed to break you? The answer is not found in superhuman strength, or enhanced speed, or a healing factor that can stitch a wound shut in seconds. It is found in the quiet choices, the ones no one sees, the ones that cost him everything, the ones that force him to choose between his own safety and the lives of the people he loves, between the easy path of violence and the hard path of mercy, between becoming the monster everyone expects him to be, and holding on to the humanity that makes him extraordinary for nearly 2 decades. Teen Wolf has been celebrated for its supernatural drama, its high-stakes battles, its iconic characters, and unforgettable story arcs. But the core of the show's enduring legacy, the story that still resonates with audiences in 2026, is the journey of Scott McCall from a bitten loner to a leader who redefines what it means to be an alpha. Casual viewers often dismiss his story as a classic superhero origin tale. A nerdy kid gains superpowers, becomes popular, saves the day. But that shallow reading misses the entire point of his character. His journey is not about the power he gains. It is about the power he refuses to take. It is not about the lines he crosses. It is about the lines he will never cross, no matter the cost. It is not about becoming a werewolf. It is about remaining human, even when the monster inside him is screaming to be let out, even when the entire supernatural world is pushing him to break, to kill, to embrace the cycle of violence that has defined werewolves for centuries. Joseph Campbell's seminal work, The Hero with 1,000 Faces, outlines the universal structure of the hero's journey, a pattern that has shaped storytelling for thousands of years. Campbell writes that every hero's journey begins with a call to adventure, a disruption of the ordinary world that pulls the protagonist into the unknown. For most heroes, this call is a choice, an invitation to step into greatness, to gain power, to prove their worth. But for Scott McCall, the call to adventure is not a choice. It is forced on him. In the dead of night, in the Beacon Hills Preserve, when a werewolf sinks its teeth into his side, this is not an invitation to adventure. It is an attack. It does not open a door to greatness. It shatters the ordinary life he has always known. It does not give him agency. It strips it away. His hero's journey is not about embracing the supernatural world he is thrown into. It is about reclaiming his identity, his humanity, his autonomy, in a world that is designed to strip all three away from him. To understand the magnitude of what Scott achieves, you must first understand where he starts. He is 16 years old, a sophomore at Beacon Hills High School. He lives in a small house with his mother, Melissa, a registered nurse who works double and triple shifts to keep a roof over their heads. His father is absent, out of their lives, leaving Scott to grow up faster than he should, to take care of his mother as much as she takes care of him. He has severe, persistent asthma, a condition that has left him on the bench of the Beacon Hills lacrosse team for years. Blockpunched, overlooked, invisible to the popular crowd, to the girl he has a crush on, Allison Argent. He has exactly one real friend, Giles Stilinski, the sheriff's son, a sarcastic, anxious, fiercely loyal kid who is the only person who really sees Scott, who stands by him through everything, even when it gets him into trouble. It is Stiles who drags Scott into the Beacon Hills Preserve that night, the night that changes everything. Stiles' father, the sheriff, is searching for the other half of a dead body found in the woods, and Stiles drags Scott along to investigate. What starts as a teenage adventure turns into a nightmare when they are separated in the dark, when Scott hears a growl in the trees, when a werewolf lunges out of the darkness and bites him. In that single moment, his ordinary life is gone forever. The bite cures his asthma. gives him superhuman strength, a healing factor that can fix almost any wound in seconds. He goes from the bench warmer to the star of the lacrosse team. From the invisible kid to someone who gets noticed by Allison Argent, the girl of his dreams, to the popular crowd, to everyone who ever overlooked him on the surface. This looks like the classic underdog story. The nerd gets superpowers, gets the girl, gets the popularity he has always wanted. But Scott does not see it that way. He does not see the bite as a gift. He sees it as a curse, because the powers come with a terrible price: the loss of control, the monster inside him. The werewolf that takes over when he is angry, or scared, or emotional. The beast that could hurt the people he loves, that could kill someone, that could turn him into the very thing he fears most. This is the core of his struggle from the very first episode. The bite does not give him power. It takes away his ability to control his own body, his own mind, his own choices. He does not feel powerful. He feels terrified. In a world he does not understand, with a monster inside him that he cannot control. The supernatural world of Beacon Hills is designed to break people like Scott. It is a world built on violence, fear, and the pursuit of power. It is a world where kindness is seen as weakness, where mercy is seen as a death sentence, where the only way to survive is to become a monster. Every person he meets in this world tries to push him down that path. Peter Hale, the alpha who bit him, tells him that he has to embrace the bite, to give in to the bloodlust, to kill or be killed. Derek Hale, the last surviving member of the Hale werewolf family, tells him that he has to leave his human life behind, to forget his friends, his family, his humanity, if he wants to survive. The Hunters, led by the Argent family, tell him that he is a monster, that he deserves to die, that there is no place for him in the human world. Every side is pushing him to choose, to become a killer, or to die, to embrace the monster, or to be destroyed by it. And this is what makes Scott's journey so extraordinary. He refuses to choose either option. He refuses to become the monster everyone expects him to be, and he refuses to die. He carves out a third path, a path no one has taken in 100 years, a path that leads him to become a true alpha, not through conquest, but through character, not through fear, but through trust, not through violence, but through compassion. He does not just survive the supernatural world, he changes it. He redefines what it means to be an alpha, what it means to be a leader, what it means to be a hero. In a world that has only ever known violence and fear. Over the course of this series, we will break down every step of that journey, every choice, every sacrifice, every moment that shapes Scott McCall from a scared, bitten kid into the most powerful alpha in Beacon Hills history. We will examine how the bite that was meant to turn him into a monster instead became the catalyst for him to become a hero. We will analyze how his initial struggle with the curse of the bite shaped his entire philosophy of power and leadership. We will dissect the pivotal moment he chooses to spare a life even when it would have given him everything he thought he wanted, and how that refusal to kill set him apart from every other antagonist in the series. We will break down the ancient lore of the true alpha and how Scott's unshakable moral will make the impossible possible. We will explore the heavy cost of his leadership, the emotional and physical scars left by years of choosing mercy over violence, protection over power. We will evaluate the paradox of a leader who is often the most vulnerable person in the room because he refuses to harden his heart, to close himself off, to stop caring. We will summarize his lasting legacy, how his evolution redefined the supernatural hierarchy of Beacon Hills, how his philosophy resonates in the context of the 2026 franchise revival, and why his journey remains the blueprint for modern heroism in supernatural media for decades. Supernatural media has been dominated by the anti-hero, the brooding, violent protagonist who will do whatever it takes to win, who kills without remorse, who uses fear and intimidation to get what they want. Characters who are celebrated for their strength, their ruthlessness, their willingness to cross any line to achieve their goals. From the Vampire Diaries' Daemon Salvatore, to Supernatural's Dean Winchester, to Game of Thrones' Jaime Lannister, the anti-hero has become the default for modern genre storytelling. Scott McCall is not that hero. Thing is not an anti-hero. He is not a ruthless killer. He is not a man who will cross any line to win. He is a kid who just wants to protect the people he loves, who refuses to become the monster the world wants him to be, who believes that mercy is not weakness, that kindness is strength, that love and trust are more powerful than fear and violence. This is what makes his story so timeless, so resonant, so unforgettable. Nearly 20 years after the show first premiered, in 2026, Scott McCall's journey still matters, still connects with audiences old and new, because it is not just a story about werewolves or supernatural battles. or high school drama. It is a story about what it means to be a good person, even when the world is trying to make you bad, about what it means to hold on to your humanity, even when you have the power to become a monster, about what it really means to be a leader, not through fear, force, or violence, but through trust. An unshakable moral will. The world we live in today is filled with stories that glorify violence, that celebrate power at any cost, that tell us that the only way to win is to become as ruthless as your enemies. Scott McCall's story rejects that narrative entirely. It tells us that you do not have to become a monster to defeat monsters, that you do not have to sacrifice your humanity to win, that the strongest thing you can be is kind, even in the darkest of times, even when the world is designed to break you. This is the heart of the true alpha journey. This is the answer to the question we started with. What does it take to become a true alpha? It takes the courage to be good when everyone around you is being cruel, the strength to be merciful when everyone is telling you to kill, the will to hold on to your humanity. When the world is trying to turn you into a monster, it takes choices, not strength, character, not conquest, love, not fear. This is the story of Scott McCall, the boy who was bitten in the woods and changed the world.